I'd like to call the February 15th regular select board meeting to order. Present, and the time is 6:31 p.m. Present in the room is Mr. Stan Noga, Mr. Bruce Mello, myself, Dot Maggio, our road supervisor, Everett Mark Bills. That's for the room. Any changes to the agenda at this time? I'm just going to add under my select board report, signing the certificate of no appeal or suit pending for the listers. And I am also going to correct the spelling of Jules's last name, which I will introduce now. Members of the public, scheduled members is Jules Lavoie. Correct, Jules? I pronounced it?
Yes.
All right, Jules is a member of our community here in Brookline, and he is interested in learning a little bit more about Brookline and serving, and he responded with interest to our reporting clerk applicant search through Front Porch Forum, and I asked Jules if he would attend tonight's meeting and submit minutes, and we will look at them, and at the next meeting, we will talk about the appointment for the position. So, that's where we're at right now. Jules, welcome to Brookline, and I don't bore you to death.
Thank you.
All right. Other members of the public present is Mr. Guy Tanza and also Fact TV. Yes, sir.
I'm wondering if, in Mr. Lavoie's involvement in this, if he would appreciate copies, a set of copies of minutes from Peter and a set of my minutes.
He has
He has those already been provided.
they're
he's looking
right
at them?
online, right?
Okay.
Yes, I went to the website and I downloaded minutes of the current person that was doing the last meeting, and also Peter's minutes from November, December. And I downloaded those, and I've got a good lay of the land and how they were drafted. And if everybody liked Peter's format, I thought I would kind of duplicate that.
Okay.
I have no preference, whatever.
All right, very good. Jules's last name is spelled wrong on my agenda. It's spelled Lovoie, Lavoie.
It's Lavoie.
Sorry?
It's Lavoie.
Oh, geez. See? A little dyslexia on my part. Lavoie.
Yep, that's right.
All right, very good. So we're going to move on. There are no any other unscheduled members. I guess Guy's here as the town clerk. We're going to review the minutes from the regular meeting held on January 18th. I put January 8th, but it's actually January 18th on the agenda. That was just a typo on my part. So does anybody have any changes on page 1 of 6 from Wednesday, January 18th? I just had 2 capitalizations from Mark Bills and Stephen Matter's last name, to just capitalize it.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Any items on page 2 of 6?
And Mark Bills is located in.
Very top, the present E. Mark
Oh,
Bills.
okay, yeah, yeah.
Page 2 of 6. I saw under the old business dot Maggio, third sentence, it says the grant ends. It should say the grant ends 12/20/31/24.
Right. And I knew that. I'm on that one too. That.
Any other items on page 2? Page 3 of 6. The only item I saw was my last name under in person from the floor, Maggio.
Oh, you need the capital.
That's all.
And figure out how to say as I'm recording, reading it into the word,
Yeah.
how to say it capitalize the first letter. I don't know how to do that. If I don't do it, it doesn't get done. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Page 4 of 6. No items. Page 5 of 6. Mr. Noga, your last name is not capitalized under the third bullet. It says stop Maggio's, and then the next sentence says Noga stated.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Good catch. Good catch. All good catches.
And page 6 of 6. None. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes from Wednesday, January 18th as amended. May I have a second?
I wrote them, so I'm not gonna say anything. I would have to say,
Can I
Mr.
second if I'm gonna abstain?
You're not gonna,
Were you here?
I was here.
Oh, you
I
haven't
tried
read
to
it.
read it. Yeah, but I wasn't corresponding. My print was wrong. I'm just not in a mental situation right now to change and guess.
Yeah.
I second it. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
It really doesn't matter.
any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes from January 18th as amended signify by saying aye. Aye. Minutes have been approved as amended. Next item is the minutes from the regular meeting held on February 1st, 2023. On page 1 of 6, any items to change? I would just under public, none is NONE.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Any items on page 2 of 6? None. Any items on page 3 of 6? Any items on page 4? Any items on page 5 of 6? And 6 of 6 was just your signature. Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes from Wednesday, February 1st, 2023 as amended. May I have a second? Seconded by Mr. Mello. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the minutes as amended from Wednesday, February 1st, 2023 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Minutes passed as amended. Thank you very much. Okay, under new business, Brookline Meeting House survey to the community. I emailed to everyone the survey that the Brookline Meeting House has designed. We're looking for permission to make paper copies so that these surveys can be completed by those attending the town meeting. The summary of the survey will be provided in late April by the committee to the select board. I also ask that we have permission to place these also on our website. So I'll make a motion that I don't have to make a motion because it's just asking for permission. It's not like it's going to cost anything. So does anybody have any concerns about making copies or about the survey itself?
No, I think it was pretty detailed, pretty thorough. Angles.
Okay.
I have no problem with it meeting any of these criteria in the agenda outline.
One of the things that we are going to do, and I say we because I'm part of the committee, is to put some of this information into what they call Survey Monkey, which will digitize and count up the results of that survey. So that should be interesting to see how that goes. All right, thank you very much.
Dot, will you email me that so I can put it on the webpage?
Oh, yes, of course. Of course. Okay, number 2, review the suggested RFP from the BRIC grant. Authorized publication of the RFP as required. The BRIC grant is the grant that will help us to develop our local hazard mitigation planning services for the town of Brookline. Pretty much, I emailed everybody a copy of the suggested RFP, and except for this little spot here where I'm going to fill in Brookline, wherever it has a town name, the town of Brookline goes in. Down at the bottom, in the middle of the page, it says the amount available for the consultant expenses capped at $10,150. Everything else is either the word Brookline or the date. I would like to utilize both the reformer and also with a reference to the town website to put this RFP out. Since it's a very lengthy RFP, it would be very, very, very expensive for us. So I would put out the RFP so that it would have a summary and it would have the hot link addressed to our website, and that I'll ask Guy then to post it online. Is that all right with everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's
Um,
becoming a very common practice. I notice in this paper that's been done twice by other
Yeah,
towns.
because it gets complicated.
Yeah.
All right, so there's nothing unusual about that. I am going to have the closing date as, for, March 15th, 2022. And the issuing date will be the day I put it in the newspaper, so.
Hopefully you're gonna change that to 2023.
2023,
You
yes.
said 2022.
I know, I'm behind. Okay. Next item, old business, 7:10, we're going along with that real quick. ARPA, please note that for all of these motions, for Jules's sake, I put underneath them to realize that we have, someone makes a motion. If it's seconded, then we have a discussion and then a vote is taken, or the motion is tabled to a later date. If we don't have something seconded, the motion falls and it doesn't get discussed. So I'm going to make a motion to authorize $15,000 of ARPA money to be moved to the dedicated fund of the Brookline Meeting House account as the match to the State Historic Preservation Grant supporting the work to be done on the Brookline Meeting House Foundation. The grant number is 07110. May I have a second to my motion?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Nova. Discussion. Do note that the State Historic Preservation Grant is a match of up to $15,000, and the grant is has all been approved, and we have started sending in all of the timely paperwork that needs to get sent in for this process, and that's about it. Any other discussion? Yes, sir.
I am wondering what your thoughts are regarding the Brookline Meeting House Committee sending to me a copy of the grant so that I can place it in the grants log or
I have a
report.
whole binder. I'll give you the whole.
You got a whole
binder,
thing, or
and I'll
just
put
mail
it
me
in
the important, or email me
Yes.
the important stuff, good.
Yes.
So that's okay to do,
Sure,
okay.
sure.
Dot, can I make a comment? Dot, can I make a comment?
Yes, what's up?
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
The amount you're saying is $15,000, and that's a considerable amount of money. And I realize that the select board has the priority and the prerogative to do what they want to do with the ARPA money. But with town meeting being so close, less than 2 weeks away, I'm just wondering why you wouldn't want to ask the public for their input in regard to spending $15,000 of the town's money.
This is non-tax money. It is the prerogative of the select board to do so. This was part of the grant that was started earlier, late summer, early fall. It has been mentioned at several select board meetings. It is in several sets of agendas and minutes. And this is, we're moving forward on that. It was not placed on the article for discussion at the town meeting. And unfortunately, with a limited select board, maybe somebody would have brought that up, but it's too late now to.
Why is it too late now?
It's not something that anybody else has to get involved in. This is an appropriation from the select board, following all the rules and legalities necessary to obligate money from the ARPA funds received by the town.
Amen.
Okay, but the ARPA money is still town money. It belongs to the town's people, and $15,000 is a great deal of money. And
It
I'm
is.
just
I
curious because in other instances, when any time there was a great deal of money to be the select board to choose, it was put in front of the public. So I'm just asking, have you
No,
considered that?
No, it wasn't. Not when we approved the money for Mark's expenditure for retaining him last year. That wasn't put up for a vote. That was done by the select board. I believe it was either.
And we also did not do that for the heat pumps at the school system.
That's correct too.
So this is not a precedent setting situation. In fact, this is the smallest of the appropriations that have been obligated by the select board of the ARPA funds. So I'll have to stick to my guns on this guy. It's a leveraged opportunity to double the value of the money that has been appropriated by the federal government. It is a match of $15,000, so its value is $30,000. It is an appropriate match. It is an appropriate way to spend money one-to-one. It is a very good way of leveraging those funds for the buildings. And that
Okay,
is what
but
the ARPA monies are going to be used for. It's used for the school building, the meeting house, town hall, salaries, retentions. In fact, your salary increase will also come from the ARPA monies in 2023-24 budget. So we don't have to go and have it in front of a town meeting in order to do that. Yes, sir.
There's one other thing that was a factor in this decision. In order to get the grant, I believe, if my memory's not failing me, and that's becoming a little suspect lately, the History Preservation Trust needed a demonstration of citizen support for the upgrading of the building to get this grant. And conceivably, if you look at whether they're going to use this grant as a basis for any future decision, it was the factor is we needed to show support, and it was $15,000. It wasn't a significantly larger amount of money. So for all the reasons that Dot mentioned, plus that, and the Meeting House Committee did specifically attend a select board meeting to make that request, and it was on the agenda. We agreed to support the committee in regard to this grant application by making this pledge, which we're now following through on.
Mm-hmm. And it was part of the RFP that is posted on the town website.
Amen.
That it was part of it. But I understand what you're saying, Mr. Tanza, but this has been going on for months, so we're gonna move on. Item number 2. So Sky, actually, if you want to, I'm gonna continue. Article number 2, I'll read the motion again. A motion to authorize $35,000 of ARPA money to be moved to the dedicated fund of the Brookline Meeting House account. These ARPA funds can only be used with the permission of the select board on approved projects, grant matches on this municipally owned building. I'd like to make that motion. May I have a second before we have a discussion?
Second.
Seconded by Bruce Mello. Discussion. This additional money, there was a discussion at the last select board meeting of having a little bit more of a community input to see how that money would be used. And I do believe that by placing the survey, which we just agreed on, out to the public, that this would be a good way to generate the interest in making an additional contribution totaling $50,000 of ARPA money to the Brookline Meeting House. However, at this time, I am of the mind to do 2 things. One would be to table this motion until we have the results of the survey to confirm that this is the route that the community wants to take based upon the results of the survey. And 2, I'm concerned about, in this case, not following, because it was not part of an RFP or a previous pledge, that I might need to recuse myself as a member of that committee for this particular motion. Any other discussion?
Oh, boy.
So you've amended the motion that was on the agenda. I have no problem with the amendment being made.
I didn't amend anything.
Well, it doesn't mention anything about making this in any way, manner, shape, or form committed or not committed to the survey. And we're entering it here as
I don't even know what the survey's got anything to do with it.
No, I'm just saying that I think that before we commit an additional $35,000 to the Brookline Meeting House, we table this until after a survey has been analyzed, which would collect more data from the community to see if there is that impetus to continue to move on. The Brookline Meeting House has been significantly
Thrown
collecting money.
thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars into that building. Isn't that a proof of impetus?
making a long story short,
You have. the
I
vote.
support your
I suggest we
tabling of
take-
the thing.
I suggest that we vote.
I'm recused.
I'm in favor of tabling it.
You're recusing.
So
I'm
it's
not in favor-
tabled.
I'm not in favor of tabling, so now we're leaving.
I think it goes as
It gets
an
dropped.
approval, it gets dropped.
It gets
The whole
dropped.
thing gets
The whole
dropped.
motion gets dropped. then.
Drop it.
All right, we will,
Don't fight me tonight.
all right, but if you tabled it, it would come back up in April.
Forget it.
Okay. All right, so we will, continue on. We will, the vote is to, is mute because we do not have 3 people who would vote for the, authorization with the recusal.
Spend it on the roads, make everybody happy.
There you go. Vote, recuse. Okay. Number 3. Authorize obligating $5,000 of ARPA funds to the Deerfield Valley Fiber CUD, of which the town of Brookline is a member of, in support of their efforts to provide those underserved residents in Brookline access to broadband high-speed internet during phase 3 of the DV Fiber's build-out. Funds directed to DV Fiber will be matched if obligated before May 30th, 2023, which would then total $10,000 for the town of Brookline's internet accessibility. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Stan Noga. We will go into discussion. I will make a note that in today's email, we received from DV Fiber a summary of town select boards who have donated or who have made their donations to the DV Fiber CUD. Again, with under consideration, they are suggesting that Brookline contribute $10,000. So by offering a $5,000 ARPA for the CUD, it will be leveraged to be equivalent to $10,000 to the citizens of Brookline. Again, it is will be matched up to by May 30th, 2023.
Is that date accurate? Somewhere I recall, and I don't know where this is coming from, what conversation, but I thought it had to be before May, not necessarily May 30th, which for the treasurer to issue checks
Hold on.
is critical to know. So that's why I'm asking.
I have that date. Vermont Community Broadband will match town local fiscal recovery ARPA contributions dedicated to broadband in an expanded town match program as part of the VCBB Act 71 broadband construction grant program. To be matched, the funds must be pledged to the community unit, the CUD serving the town, or an eligible provider. Blah, 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 blah. What is the date on here? It's not giving me a date. Well,
I have no
make-
problem with the date other than we clarify before the checks are issued and before.
Right, it's actually making the pledge for that,
Right,
and it's
yeah.
it's not gonna take us
We
3
can
months
look the
to
date up
write
another time.
the checks. So it would be, they would be in their hands before the date of May, whatever, May 1st, May 30th. I think it was May 30th. And I probably have it in here in more detail, but it's not on the top of my page here.
I think I looked at minutes from when Mr. John attended, and for some reason, I think it says May
Right,
as a general month. It doesn't say May 30th or May
Right.
1st. It said before May.
right. And we did have several meetings on the agenda. In fact, one in which Steve and John came in person, and another one where he zoomed in
Yeah.
and clarified some issues. So it's been on the agenda for discussions several times. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of authorizing the obligation of $5,000 of ARPA funds to the Deerfield Valley Fiber CUD, of which the town of Brookline is a member of, in support of their efforts to provide those underserved residents of Brookline's access to broadband high-speed internet during phase 3 of the fiber build-out. Funds directed to the fiber, knowing that the funds will be matched. May I have a second? We did that already, right? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, three of us, the motion has passed. Thank you very much. Okay, next one. It's an amendment. Okay. Number 4, I'd like to make a motion to amend the motion made at the August 12th, 2021 meeting regarding the amount of ARPA funds to place in the highway salary line item to cover the increase of hourly salary rate of $24 to $30 and the number of annual hours to the road supervisor may work to 1,560. The wording of the motion from August did not indicate, the last sentence says a matching retirement contribution of up to 5% of his salary will be made to a qualified retirement account. The assistant treasurer has asked that we modify it and say up to 5% of his gross salary, so that it doesn't break down whether he's working for the school or he's working for the on the roads. So I'm going to ask to modify the motion from August 12th to add the word gross salary. So to clarify that it's a combination of both. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Bruce. Any other discussion? Just adding the word gross salary. All right, all those in favor of approving this motion to modify the August 12th motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. All right. Next item here is not a motion, it's a discussion. It's a discussion about purchasing a town truck. And the example that we looked at was what was down at Spaceport. Is that in Brattleboro? Just around by the roundabout. There was an example.
It's the same company, but it's in Westminster.
Oh,
A
okay.
little bit further
Faith
north.
is known by, there's no Brattleboro anymore.
Oh, there isn't?
They
Okay.
sold out.
All right.
Anyway, so it's not in Brattleboro.
No,
Okay.
by Westminster.
All right. And then the item C is discussion about purchasing a wheeled excavator, and almost those two items sort of go hand in hand. I have to say this. I have to ask my select, what's more important right now? Researching the excavator or a truck? My problem with the truck, even though I'm pro about getting the equipment necessary for the road work to be done, and that Mark can then fill some of those hours that we promised him that for working in the town. But I was thinking, and I was butting heads around and talked with Stan and a couple other people. And if we got a truck, it's sort of like putting, and you'll like this analogy because the cart before the horse, because we wouldn't have any way to utilize the truck without a piece of equipment that can pick something up and put on the truck. You can't move gravel unless we have an excavator.
We're talking 20 years down the road here.
What do you mean 20 years down the road?
I don't see that at all. Did I finish? You were not finished? I'm sorry.
I'm just saying that I think we really should get on the ball with the excavator. We haven't ordered anything for the summer. We don't know what's out there. We need to get aligned with the getting out the loan.
But it has nothing to do with purchasing a truck. If you have the truck and it's available, we can buy it in 2 weeks. It's got nothing to do with the excavator.
What's the point of having the truck if it's just to drive around town?
Well, we're not gonna do just the one. I understand why the excavator's gotta be here first before we get a town truck. We have an opportunity to purchase a really good quality truck, if it is, we haven't checked it out yet. We haven't checked out all the details yet, fair enough. But I don't see where one has to do with the other at all.
Well,
I'm
sorry.
I just feel it doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, about and the purchasing, the way I look at it, is entirely different. One would possibly be paid by cash. Cause you told me that we had 20 some odd thousand dollars left over from of the ARPA that was added into the ARPA from the difference of Mark's situation. The other one, the wheeled excavator, can be financed almost 100%, not that I say we should, depending on what the payment would be and how that would work into the road budget in order to not to increase the budget. Example. So if we had $40,000 in the road fund for the summer, and it's a $500 a month, say $1,000 a month payment, that's $12,000 a year. More than enough pays for it. What I'm getting at is the wheeled excavator purchase has nothing to do with the town purchase of the truck. And the bottom line is this, he needs both. Whether
He
one
does
comes-
need both.
Whether one comes first before the other, it makes no freaking sense at all. Excuse me, Dad, I don't mean to demean it, that wasn't my intent. But it doesn't make any sense to get the wheeled excavator first when we've got the town truck sitting with a beautiful comp. If it pans out, we don't know that, I'll say it again. 46,000 miles, 2012. If it hasn't been beaten on, it's in clean shape. If everything lines up, and of course, there's a lot of ifs here because we haven't talked to them yet. I was gonna call them this afternoon, but I couldn't do it for reasons I can't get into. But I guess the bottom line is here, you have to decide whether you want to buy it and how you want to pursue it. It's not a lengthy thing to pursue. What's it gonna take? Going over there and looking at it, making a deal pending on, what I used to do when I was selling cars, any customer could make a deal pending on whether they could get the financing or not. So the whole idea is putting a deposit on it so that you can pursue the details. Once you've done that, you always get the deposit back anyway. They can't keep your deposit. It's just to keep somebody else buying it. So I guess what I'm saying here, I'm going off on the weeds. One, basically, just does have nothing to do with the other, in my estimation. And as far as pursuing a wheeled excavator, that's an entirely different avenue. Yes, do we want both? Yes, we want both. I just don't understand why the wheeled excavator has to come first if you've got a town truck sitting right there ready to buy. It's in beautiful shape. It's a marvelous opportunity if it pans out. I guess I made my point.
Dan?
I feel it's, having a truck and no heavy equipment is not the way to go. If, we're gonna keep anyone, the availability of the town being served right away, should something serious happen, like did on the storm of 2021 in August, that it's more useful and functional and can save the town money by having the piece of the heavy equipment first to do the work. And if it's an excavator or any other kind of vehicle that has a loader and or backhoe, that can be driven from the garage to the site. And that's not hearing how Mark's feeling about it, and Mark probably should be an input. But so that's the general topic. The second issue is, based on data that was provided by our assistant treasurer, without even considering the fact that we're currently sort of underfunded with the, as the town budget for municipal and highway stands now, anyone with a $200,000 valued house is going to have a $266 increase right off the top, over what the numbers were last year. We have no idea what our real estate tax rate's going to be. We do know that our CLA is over the levels, but very close to the level of the maximum allowable, which probably means that in the course of the tax rate being set for this town, there's a penalty for our CLA ratio being as close to the borderline as it is. So I'm looking at my house is appraised for a little about $200,000. I could conceivably see in 1 year a $300 increase in my taxes for my property in this town for just this year. Never mind waiting another year for FEMA to pay what they owe the town for all the monies and expenditures.
Of course.
And So it's not like we have all kinds of money that we can play around with. There are restrictions like anyone's family budget as to what you can do. Can we go out and eat today? Maybe, maybe not. Let's look at our wallet, see what we got. I think our wallet is a little tight right now. And I think that adding a tax burden to the citizens of the town is something that I would refrain from. And if I'm gonna make any consideration to purchasing something, I think a wheeled excavator or some similar device that meets the need of the highway department be our primary focus. The other aspect, the third thing I'd like to say is the bed of that truck looks like it has a metal floor, but it doesn't have sides. So if you're gonna put heavy rock in there, gonna go up to Mr. Clark's and get some rock or so forth for ditching and so forth, you got 18 inches at max of siding and it's wood. You're gonna dump something into that? I don't see that as completely functional. So I would prefer that we hold off on any serious discussion at this time, or not proceed to purchase the truck that was emailed over the last few days. And I would suggest we focus on a piece of equipment. And if there's any consequence, I did log on to the AOT auction site. The state doesn't auction it itself, it hires people. I went and looked at 2020s and 2021 and 20 and 19. And there are pieces of equipment, although aged, that are much more within our budget if the auction comes up. They're not going to actually put out a formal list until March of this year. The auction is on May 13th.
I'm gonna just read to you some of the response from the Vermont League of Cities and Towns lawyer. Basically, in summary, without reading a whole paragraph, there are some nuances here to review the purchase policy, which we have. The select board has the authority for purchasing such equipment. The voters' approval needs to be collected depending upon how we're going to fund the truck. If it's all ARPA money, then they don't need to have the voter approval. If we are going to get a loan from the bond bank,
I forget, it's a division, I think, of the state treasurer's department.
yeah, then again, we're okay. But at this time, I'm sorry, I want us to focus on the big thing, because if we get a little,
Well,
and that
I'm outvoted, so I'll go further. Let's just move on.
all right, so,
There's no sense of beating it up.
so what I would
don't
like,
agree 100%, and I'm not in the greatest frame of mind tonight, which doesn't freaking help.
I know.
Okay, so
I'm sorry.
well, we'll take it with a grain of salt, okay? Anything I say. But I think your argument, has, in a nice way, Stan, has holes in it like crazy. First of all, the first part about the taxes has nothing to do with the taxes at all, zero. The second part about.
Why does it have nothing to do with the
Because
tax?
it doesn't. This isn't tax. If anything, it's saving it because you're not increasing the budget.
Where's the money gonna come from? I want, get it on record.
The ARPA money, that has nothing to do with taxes. We cannot use ARPA money for taxes, correct?
Correct, you
Okay,
cannot,
that's point number one. Point two about the quality of the truck, might be right. Because if you might remember, I said at least 2 or 3 times, it remained to be seen whether it was worth it or not. Your points, which is valid, is you'd rather concentrate on the other machine.
yeah,
I got that, but I don't think that that's a big concentration. Because we go see it, like it, buy it, and that's it. I don't understand what all the difficulty is with that. And we have an opportunity, and lastly, we have an opportunity, I think, and let's repeat it again the third time, based on what it looks like when we see it, of getting a vehicle that will help him, Mark, mean it that way, to help Mark and to help the town in the future. We've had that grader for how many years? 35, 40 years now. 40 years. So when you're buying something with that condition with 46,000 miles, you'll be 85, we'll be 90 before they'll even need another truck. That's Ford. That is the best-selling vehicle since 1981. The Ford F-150. Well, that's a 250.
right, all right.
And last point,
Mhm.
and the largest selling truck for 46 years. There's a reason for that. I'm done.
Okay, I
I'm
do
done.
have to say that,
I'm done. I'm outvoted, so I got that. There's no.
We're not voting on anything. It's
Well,
a
it doesn't
discussion.
matter.
I think we need
I
to,
disagree with, and it's too blunt. Democracy. I understand, I believe that.
town truck might be something to put off at this time, but really to start to go after the wheeled excavator and to try to find some place that would even start out with the lease option, which is the first 60 day. From when I was researching online, many places that do a lease, the option to buy will provide the first 3 months of your rental agreement towards the purchase price. And if we need to really start looking at that, we don't have anything lined up for the summer at all. And you have an awful lot of work to do to finish up for our FEMA repairs. So I think that that is what we need to focus on. I think the town would appreciate seeing the grader going down the road right now rather than a truck that they think is just cruising around, not the grader.
We're talking 30 years, 20 years.
There's,
I don't understand why
you've
we're.
had enough time, Bruce. You've already gone through.
Okay, you're right. Let's stop it. Now, let's move to 7. Wait, excuse me. I didn't mean to do that. Been a rough day. Let's move on, okay?
All right, so we will not going to, we'll try to look at, purchasing the excavator initially, going forward. All right, reports and updates, Mr. Mark Bill, road supervisor.
Okay, so the past couple weeks, temperatures have been on the rise and, we've had some windy weather, just monitoring roads. And knowing that, 50-degree weather is coming with no trees at nights, you could already see the change in the road softening, so we've been, applying our planned crushed stone project, on the areas that have softened already. And it seems to be helping. We'll know better by the end of tomorrow how that's gonna hold up. Been through some extra stone and, may have to call in some more stone, later on if we need it for the
they
next mud
open?
season. I know we're going back, I looked at the 14-day weather forecast. We've got a couple 50-degree days, and it's gonna back off to 40 degrees. The nights are gonna start freezing, and we're going back to winter. It looks like the second half of February, if it goes by the forecast, which I saw online, we're in for more snow and more, below zero and below freezing weather coming. So we may get a break in mud season until the next mud season. However, that part was going good. I have also sat with, Archie Clark to start gathering information for an RFP for the future FEMA work that needs to get completed so that we can call the flood damage done and hopefully get reimbursed. So with information that we have gathered and working with Dodd and Mark Pickering, V-Trans and Stan and Bruce, whoever, I think we can put together an RFP with all the information we got and hopefully get that.
Mark and I are gonna get together on Friday and look at the RFP suggested by, Mark Pickering and then see what we can plug into that. And Mark has offered to review it for us, so.
Yeah, so I think with all of our.
Mark
questions-
Pickering or Mark Bills?
Mark Pickering.
Okay.
We, Mark had a basic printout of what we need to show for an RFP, so with information that we have as far as measurements, quantities of material and equipment suggestions, I think we can come up with, there's a few questions that I think we need to, I think it may be on FEMA's paperwork that we've received already, but just questions like how many wing walls do we need, concrete headers, for these suggested, mitigated culvert areas. I feel certain that the question was asked and it's mainly on the inlet sides that need to.
I think they were happy with the inlet sides and
And the opposite end would be a riprap.
riprap, sloped riprap, without needing to do.
Yeah. So those are just some questions that we need to confirm. And a little bit of equipment maintenance, and other than that, we're still
Plugging along.
keeping people passing the roads.
Okay.
You mentioned an RFP, but it sounds like it's including a number of sites. Are
Yeah,
you doing one master RFP or
Well-
one for each site?
that's another question. Because there's so much space in between, our consideration would be
This is what hasn't been done yet.
there's several hundred feet of stone lined ditches, which means the ditches need to be dug out and then reshaped
Yeah.
with some stone. That may be one project. We have the 3-foot diameter culvert with some hammering to remove ledge, ensuring the bank on the outlet side. That'll probably be one job. RFP, and then over on the Holland Hill side, because of all that work is within eyesight of one that might get locked together as one, possibly two.
Right, so I think that's the way to go, would be like combining areas for the
Yeah.
RFPs.
I would be appreciative if at some point when there's spare time in your daily schedule, just email some of that, scan it, or allow me to copy it here and I can scan it at home into the computer.
And of course, the final, I think it's the final, piece that will be the last
Happen to have spare copy.
bit of
Thank you.
pavement that didn't get completed.
Yes, the paving issue.
I measured 80 feet, 80 by roughly 20, I think it's 19, but with the snow on, I called it 20, so 80 by 20 of new pavement, but I believe that should take place after the culvert's installed. Just because the fact the road might change height, depending on how deep we can get the
Hammer,
new
get
culvert.
in there.
And if the road's gonna be higher, we may wanna transition that last 80 feet to match the road height.
We'll still design the RFP, but we may not put it out
Right,
until after the fact,
a
and then.
later, yeah, that's very possible.
And for each RFP, we are going to have a in-person, on-site,
Site visit,
site visit
all questions.
of all
asked.
questions that are asked, so everybody gets the same answers, questions and answers, and understand where it starts, where it ends, what it entails, each of those different segments of the project.
Yeah, and all bidders will have to have been at that meeting.
Right, they have to be at the meeting.
Right,
Great, great. What's your target date for? this one?
well, that was the other thing, we don't wanna push it all the way to the end of the summer, but I was thinking maybe the end of August. Does that sound like,
You think if we can get all the other stuff tied up, that would be great, because then we have time to,
I mean, our deadline is October.
no, our deadline is December
Oh, it
31st,
is
2023.
Okay, all right,
So we have until December to,
okay,
to finish our FEMA work.
all right. I know a lot of times A&R likes you
Out
out
of
of
the
the
springs,
water by
October.
October first, but being they're not major waterways, or are they? So I was thinking the end of August, maybe mid-September, the
Okay.
latest, would give time to get that paperwork completed at the
Right.
end and.
All right, so we just gotta get it organized and written up. Mark can review it, then board will approve it, advertise it, site visit, award the grant, award the bids, and process the work to get done in a time schedule.
Yeah.
Okay?
Sounds good.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, that's.
Okay. All right, Stan, yes, I meant to give you that copy, so that's why I had an extra one, and when you said that, I'm like, I think I made one for you.
Okay.
We do have one other contract to work on, but I can get to I can get to town hall, the binder with the Brookline Meeting House grant and everything in it, that contract for Perry Bourne to do the work. We can pull all that stuff together, we have to have request the W-9 and the insurance certificate and,
Sounds like our standard letter. that
standard
we've-
letter.
We've gotten approval and this is the contract and
Yes.
send all this back with the contract.
Yes,
Standard operating procedure.
yep,
Okay, so nothing new.
nope.
And the RFP, I understood, was being created by someone on the committee?
The RFP is already done.
It
It's
is.
already been approved.
It has been approved.
Yes, it's been approved by the board. It's been approved by the preservation.
Okay, that's
Everything
the
is-
phrase I was waiting.
Yeah, they have awarded the grant of up to 15,000, of which we are matching 15,000.
Okay. All righty. Okay, and you would like this done when?
He's not gonna start it any real time right now, but within the next 5 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks.
Okay, so by the 1st of April, basically?
Yeah,
Okay.
and according to the preservation, I put it on the notes here, project must be completed by December 2024.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be completed by 2023, but they want it done by 2024. So that would be the date you can put on the contract.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, sounds good.
but I'm sorry, I put that in your agenda.
No, that's okay. No,
over
I
it.
was glad to see it there. Thank you. It
Okay.
was very helpful. Yeah. Yeah. Now at should I go over?
Whatever you need to do.
Okay.
Tom.
Yeah, the last meeting, I believe, you had asked me to list out the things that have come in from AOT and District 2 or District 2 and indicate what they are and when they're due and what do we need to file and so on and so forth. So I kind of did that. It's not greatly explanatory, but if anyone who's keeping track, Mark, I'll give you mine as soon as I'm done. Or you can share with maybe Dot in the meantime. There were 5 things that looks like, actually there's more, but some of them are lumped together. We've got to get back to Mark Pickering based on a letter that he sent the town on February 1st of this month, indicating where and how long, I guess I should say, if there are places in town that need center line painting. He wants to know where, the number of feet, if there's anything special or unique that we want as a part of that job. He said he wants it ASAP, but he doesn't give a specific date. Class 1 and class 2. We don't have any class 1, I guess, so
Yeah.
it's all class 2.
Okay.
They thought they come out automatically every year.
Yeah, a lot of times.
We don't even.
You gotta, well, it may be because it's based on some conversation they had somewhere along the line.
Okay.
Because according to what his letter was, which I didn't, here, I think I brought it with me as a matter of fact. Yeah, it was addressed to the town clerks, village trustees, and municipal managers, dated February 1st. And it does not give me the feel that they're gonna do it and you don't need to tell them anything. It looks like they wanna know if you're gonna have any work done in town.
Okay.
They wanna know where that work is gonna be
Yeah,
done,
like
the size of it, the length of it,
Yeah.
what's to be done, when can they come back and put the lines on so they can coordinate it with any other
Yeah.
lines that need to be done, et cetera, et cetera. And they gave me a website, where all of this can be put in, to the website automatically. So, and it is class 1, class 2 highways. Sounds like it's an annual event, but apparently, for whatever reason, it looks like they're requesting contact regarding it.
Could you
Yeah.
just show me what this paper looks like?
Oh, here.
Because.
Whoops, I'm sorry.
Sounds select board, and it came in the email, you got an email?
I got an email, a copy of it was sent to all the town transportation people, and I don't know, I had spoken with Megan a time or two, so,
All right, then I didn't get this.
oh, I can send it to
Oh,
you.
no, yeah, I was like, all right, I thought maybe something Guy would get and then forward it out.
Well, it might have come from Guy, I don't know, I got it, that's all I know, and Guy's pretty good about getting those
Yeah,
stuff.
cause I usually,
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
if there was gonna be paving that was taking place, they would hold off until that paving was done.
Well, unfortunately, last year, they painted the lines and 10 days later, we paved.
Yeah.
And so those around that corner is not lined,
So
so
this year.
we're not paving anything. I don't believe we do anything. It might be crack sealing.
I know they're not gonna do it on their own, because in this, the third paragraph down, it says, to schedule this work as efficiently as possible. VTran needs to know which roads in your municipality are scheduled for repair and or retreatment as early as is possible. This will improve scheduling of equipment and help avoid unnecessary painting of roads prior to scheduled resurfacing. And then it gives the email address to send the advisement in.
So we're not doing any resurfacing this year except for Putney Mountain area.
Right.
Is that's not a line,
That's
that's not a lined road. It's not a class two.
I think it's
three.
class 2 from one town to another town.
Right.
So it's street.
So we don't have any repaving.
And I guess probably that would mean if there's any major projects that would slow them up for running.
Driving the
truck.
truck through town.
Is what they wanna know.
So would the only place be where we had the repaving done last summer along the river on
No,
aggressive?
they'll do the whole town.
Oh, they do the whole town automatically.
From the
Okay.
bridge to the Whitney Hill.
Okay, I understand okay, so I'm just gonna say that we don't have any plan to do what
We
we
have
need to
no
do.
plans at this time for any repaving servicing in town.
Okay,
Just. As far as I know, just maybe an unscheduled tree work or roadside mowing. But nothing that would stop.
That would stop a truck
Okay.
from coming through.
Nothing.
Okay. okay.
Fabulous, okay.
I will finish this out and send it that into them by the end of the
No,
week.
no. focus.
No.
Okay, in another email that was sent to me, but I probably was the one that sent it, but it came from Megan Brunk and Mark Pickering. There are several things. There's apparently a town highway structures grant. And that the information on that needs to be filed with the state by April 15th. Goes to, and actually specifically the District 2 division of the state. And there's the same letter covers another application. Not only do they have that, but there's also a town highways grant application. There's a separate application due for each of those. And again, that again is also due by April 15th. Is that something that rings a bell in your?
What was the last item?
Let me see. It was the town highway grants applications. And it's broken into two categories here. The municipal highway grant application. And then a town highway structures grant program. And they need applications for either or both, whatever the town desires.
Okay.
And that's gonna be done no later than April 15th, to them no later than April 15th.
Do you think we're gonna need to do a structure grant this year with just cleaning up the FEMA? Could it be something that we would work on next year, maybe? I don't know.
Well, Megan said that after town meeting day, she's planning to call every town and set up a meeting date and to go over stuff like that. So I'm hoping she might shed light on, we're still waiting on the structure grant for box culvert down by,
Tattersall.
Tattersall's, that we've been waiting. It should be within the next year or two, I would
All right,
think.
so we're on a list for a structure grant for
Yeah.
that giant box culvert
Yeah,
at Tattersall.
and we do have to apply, and I think that Megan will help us make sure we're signed up for that.
Well, Megan is required to, and we know she doesn't do this. She's required to be at each town no later than 20 days after a town meeting, which typically is the 7th of March, that which would put her 7th of April, 17th of May. These reports need to be done by the 15th of April, so that's not gonna fit into her schedule as what's required by law. And she came in here, I think, early June last year, so we know how that's gonna probably work out.
Right.
Unless we request her to put us first or near the bottom, the early part of the list.
Yeah,
And I guess part of me being unknown, I didn't get this kind of presentation, I think, but I didn't come on this until 2 months after this date last year when they were talking about this. So I have no idea I'm gonna need your guidance, Archie's guidance, or whatever, if I'm gonna interface with anybody on this for the town.
Right, yeah, I'm unaware of what, they can be used for and, I guess that would be,
Is there any information you want me to request from them to find out what it is specifically and what might we have in the hopper already
I
to
guess,
help us?
I guess just those two questions.
Yeah, ask her if she's aware of the, structures grant that we put in on Grassy Brook Road. For a big box culvert.
Right.
And any other. Oh, yeah, all right, thank you.
And I think,
Yeah,
I think the only other big, thing that they help us with is, our matching pavement funds that come around every several years, but I don't think we're up for that for another few years as well.
okay. Okay, and she does mention in the same letter, the TA-60, which is the financial plan
We did
for the town. We did it last year. We have to do it every year. And it's done,
And that's with that
Spring, early summer.
specific little multiplication thing that she does. The
right,
monies we get.
you know,
per
winter
mile.
versus summer, and
Yeah,
she calculates our budget, and that form has an effect on how much money we get in an emergency
Right.
road scenario, so
Right.
it's nothing that can be screwed around with in terms of time.
Well, knowing that it costs us $40,000 a year just to plow our roads, and it equates exactly to the $40,000 we get to take care of our roads, it's sort of an interesting wash in a way, but we can prove that we cover all of the residential roads in that respect.
The last line in this, which is in bold print, says, "To set up a time for the annual meeting, please call Megan Brunk at," and it's got her phone number.
Oh, all
I don't
right.
know if you want us me to call her, you call her, whatever, set up a date.
would you mind?
Not at all.
Yeah,
If it helps you, that's
I know
fine.
You gather good information, yeah.
Okay, okay. And let's see. And then, of course, we gotta fill out the last thing to comply with your informational request, Dot, was we again have to do the annual confirmation of that our roads are up to the state standards and being maintained as such. And that's something that should be done at our earliest convenience as well, but they didn't have a target date. I'm sure on the format there was one, but I just don't remember what it is off the top of my head.
There is a new law out or bill out about the way that we're going to have to identify road care. And I don't have it here with me tonight because I didn't put it on the agenda, but and it's a bill, it's not been passed, it's not the law, but it, like a certain time of the year, you're gonna have to have, you clean culverts between this month and that, that kind of thing. They wanna see a plan. Scheduled maintenance. They want to see scheduled maintenance. What I did with FEMA this year, when they asked for my maintenance schedule for the roads, I was able to write them a letter based upon a sample template that FEMA provided me to say that we cover it and so on and so forth, but it wasn't the formal chart that many bigger towns do. So they expect us to do the same as any big town now, so.
Other than that, I don't have anything else to offer that I can think of.
Okay.
Let's see. No, I guess that's it.
All right, thank you, Stan.
Yep.
Bruce?
There's nothing from them right now that can't be put all, sonar past from that.
Okay, all right, very good. I did put a phone call in and he was supposed to call me on Monday, but he probably got busy with the, Emmett Larson of Larson Electric to talk to him about how to go about adding the well pump to the generator system at Town Hall in the case of emergencies. And one of the things, I don't know, I was talking to Bruce about this or Stan or Howard Raja, was why didn't we just run the whole building, this whole building on the generator? Why did we limit the
Because the generator wasn't capable of doing the whole building.
what is the power of the generator? It's like 15,
Is it a 5500?
It'll handle it.
Yeah, because I have a 7,500
They'll
portable,
handle it,
it runs my whole house,
they'll handle it.
but,
You're not running electric to a freezer.
yeah.
You only have 15 amp circuits for the furnace. The only other thing that puts out a lot of voltage is the the pump.
Yeah.
That's a double pole
Well,
breaker.
that's
it.
what, one of the, what Emmett wrote to me email was that we would have to take out two lights. Two things that ran lighting and use it for the pump because of the two lights equals the power needed to run the pump.
Did anybody ask him whether we can just put a transfer box in?
He hasn't called me back for me to
Oh, okay,
answer,
yeah.
so
Okay.
the transfer box is
Put
something
a
that I
transfer
should.
box in, you can choose what you want to turn on.
Okay.
5,500 watts is a lot of wattage. I mean, you're talking,
Okay,
a pump only goes cycles and shuts off. Furnace is 15 amps.
the furnace is fine, is already on it. Furnace is.
But no, I'm
furnace
talking about,
is the
I'm
phone.
talking about if you're drawing against a 60 or 100 amp transfer box, usually it's a 60 amp transfer box. You've got the furnace, which isn't much amperage. You've got the, what most amperage is the pump. But
Yeah.
everything else I can think of, and here's all lights and electronics.
Right,
That's it.
so that's all I'll ask, I didn't know what to
I was
ask.
gonna
but
do that to
that's-
my house, and I have more than this place has,
Yeah,
way more than this. I have two refrigerators, no, both aren't hooked up, but two refrigerators, a freezer. Well pump,
yeah,
furnace, oil furnace, wood furnace.
right.
You
Washers,
just have
dryers,
to
microwave.
select what you use. If you don't want, you can take one circuit off. If you're concerned, it just won't, it'll just dim. You just have to shut one of the lines off and to give yourself more juice.
So talk to the electrician about
Yeah,
being able to be
he's-
more
he-
efficient, it should have been,
he's the pro, you know,
okay,
I defer to him.
okay,
That's where I'm at.
okay. Okay. Town report, Guy, you're still there, did you find anything out about the rabies? I know we saw a blurb that I shared with you that Newfane is not doing a rabies clinic, did you find anything about that?
Yeah.
Guy?
Can you hear me, Dot?
Now I can, you were on mute. Did you
Okay,
find-
no, I wasn't able to get a hold of Carol, but I'm of the belief that the Humane Society has a great service to offer the residents of Brookline, and the monies that are generated, which are very reasonable for the vaccinations, would certainly serve the Humane Society well.
So I think they actually offer once a month, and I can put that on the lease listserv and also advertise it on Front Porch Forum to get people to get their dogs licensed and vaccinated and then licensed in town. And what's the date they need to be licensed by? April 1st?
What was that, Dot?
It's April 1st they need to be licensed by, and then after that it's
Yes,
a $4.
April 1st is the date that's due for all animals to be licensed.
All right, and then after that, it's a $4 fine, and then in May it goes to a $50 fine. All right, well, that's what I'm assuming. I think Wyndham County Humane Society will do a good job there. Okay. I'm gonna move, anything else, Guy, that you'd like to, report?
Well, the only thing is that we have obviously the town meeting, and the other thing is that we have the school budget vote, which is going to be Australian ballot, which is on March 22nd. So we will be in the office all day. The counting will not have to be done by the Board of Civil Authority in Brookline, because all the votes will have to be taken to Leland and Gray or Townsend Town Hall to be commingled and counted all together.
Oh, okay, so it's just running the collecting the ballots. All right.
Question?
Yes, sir.
For counting of ballots at town meeting, Guy, do you need any BCA members there to do that? Or is that something that you and Gwen do as a standard?
Gwen and I have been doing it, for all these years. And, Cynthia used to come in and help, but we've been able to do it fairly easily, and we've got it down to a science. So this, I don't expect a big turnout for the school budget, but you never know.
You're talking about
But
town meeting.
at
I'm
this
talking
point,
about town meeting, guy.
I'm sorry, what was that?
There are certain votes at a town meeting, I guess, that are required to be in a paper ballot form.
Oh, no,
unless-
well, at town meeting, I will
Yeah.
have a copy of the qualified Brookline voters. And in
Okay.
the event there is a count, the members of the Board of Civil Authority, which includes the Select Board and Justice of the Peace, may be called up to monitor the counting and do the actual counting to give to the moderator.
So would you send out a memo to all of those people, all the justices, and let them, remind them that they need to be present at town meeting to do just that?
Yes, I'm going to do that, but pretty much we're all the same. The Select Board, the Justice of the Peace, and the only one I think is Marie Tattersall, which I'll notify her. But
Okay,
good.
I think we'll be okay.
All right, we're all the
All right.
same committee, yeah, it's, we do.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning Marie. She is the party who asked me last Saturday if she was going to be needed or not, and I told her I'd look into it. So thank you.
Okay.
I will touch base with her and see what her schedule is. But basically, it was pretty good with the three or four of us there. I think that would be more than sufficient. But I will call her to see what her availability is.
Great.
Okay, all right, anything else, Guy?
No, that's pretty much it. That's about it for now.
All right, thank you. All right, so quickly by Select Board Chair report, I did attend the regionalized policing meeting with the Wyndham County Sheriff's Office and with Mark Anderson. And this was just, it was probably 11 or no, there's 14 people, 5 of us in person, and the rest were on Zoom for this meeting. And it was to get an understanding about the fact that they do offer contracts. I provided, I think I sent to the Select Board a copy of the email, which shows the different towns and how much they pay. For example, Athens pays $5,500 a year for traffic enforcement and minor calls for service, so on and so forth. There are 13 members that have policing contracts with the Sheriff's Office. The most expensive one is both Vernon and Putney have traffic enforcement and cover any calls for service when in town. They pay $97,000 a year, each of those two towns. Westminster $60,000, and so on and so forth. We do not have a contract, I told them, and that we get our emergencies handled by the Vermont State Police. The next meeting that he has, he will open it up to the public, because I said that there were some people who are interested in finding out more about policing in town. And so the next one he will hold, and we will advertise it for the public. The next item on my list is, all right, Vermont League of Cities and Towns. I think I already sent that to the Select Board members, and we read a part of it, which was the policy question about, when I wrote this, the town of Brookline is looking forward to purchasing our first town truck used and reaching out to the surrounding communities via letter to see if any of them had vehicles. And this is where the VLTC said that the town is able to purchase those vehicles using ARPA or federal funds, but to contact Katie Buckley. And I did say that I haven't done it today, but I was supposed to call Katie and just talk to her about purchasing the large equipment and giving her a copy of our purchase policy and such. But if we're not using taxpayer money, then it looks like it's still pretty much an open possibility. So that was that item. FEMA. Okay. So Melissa it seems to have been the person who was getting emails from FEMA, regarding the, obligating money to the town of Brookline for the work that was done on Whitney Hill, Parker Road, Ellen Ware Road. And the other two roads in town are Grassy Brook and Putney Mountain. Okay, for those three projects, and it appears that they have, I just want to, I'll spend a few minutes at the end of the meeting with Mark or after the meeting just to show him the paperwork, but I think we are set to sign off on, and the Department of Public Safety for those three roads are ready to reimburse us $11,675.14. The total amount was $12,972.38. And so I want to have Mark just look this over, but I think those are the two sections on Whitney Hill, Grassy Brook, the section of Parker Road, the section on Ellen Ware Road. That's what they're covering. Those are small amounts, so they're not covering the bigger things, which are the Grassy Brook Road damage and paving and the damage to Putney Mountain. Okay, AOT Mark Pickering has offered to review our request for proposals to the FEMA work left to be done in Brookline from the disaster 4621. We mentioned that already. Tonight we're using the OWL, which was purchased to provide the recording and zooming of our meetings here in Town Hall. We purchased it for $1,049. You'll find in the invoice when it comes that there are 3 other locations or sources of the OWL, and they are all the same exact price, $1,049. There's no place that you can buy it for less in a new condition. So we satisfied our purchase policy for that, even though it was $49 over the $1,000. I have collected three items of sales locations. Okay, number 6, I just wanted to let you know, I'm going to continue to use the listserv to communicate more with the residents as they get closer and closer to town meeting. I went over the appropriations at one of the letters I sent out. I went over the articles 2 and 3 in another letter. The third letter, I have another one that's going out about the ARPA. So they will have summaries and information that they can use to enlighten themselves and bring qualified questions to the floor if need be on the day of in-person meeting. Okay.
Hey,
Yes.
Doc.
Yes, sir.
Well, I just have a commentary on that. I think that's a wonderful tool the town has. That's something we didn't have in Putney when I lived in Putney. And there was a lot of confusion as to what's going on, how could they communicate it. So this email list is awesome.
I tried to get more people on the email list, and I wrote about 4. Please email us because it's in direct competition to them. So we put it in the town report in several places to join that email list if you're not already a member of it. So, and we're going to send it out with information about our website and the email list. When people buy new homes, the listers will send out a cover letter. So thank you. That was some way to deal with that. Yes.
I thought your short, brief explanation and presentation of Articles 2 and 3 was well done. I like that. It was very understandable, it was very clear, and it made perfectly explain the common sense reason we're doing it. So that was wonderful.
I try to be common sense. Yeah.
I'm not implying you're not, just it, I was saying, no one could do any better. That's a great.
No, I am considerate. I am cautious about trying to. I don't want to overstep anything. I try to be as right by the book as I possibly can. All right. The next item last item I have, I asked you need to sign, and I put this on the agenda. You need to sign form PVR 4155. It's a certificate of no appeal or suits pending for the town of Brookline that has been evaluated by the listers. So, we're just going to confirm that they have reviewed this and the auditors have also reviewed this. So I just need 2 more signatures on this, and the listers will be quite happy to record that.
This is an annual thing. It's
It's an annual.
every year we do it.
All right, I will hand this in and that will be done. All right, that's all that I have for me. Any other reports or discussion from the select board? As far as town meeting preparation, David Parker, who would like to run for moderator, is available to meet with the select board to review over things before the town meeting. I didn't want to pick a date. I'm actually not going to be around for about a week, so if you wouldn't mind, maybe our next meeting is going to be March 1st. So maybe the 27th or 28th of February, we could get together. I'll put out a note to all 3 of us and Mr. Parker and see who can make it. And we'll just sit down with the articles and make sure that everybody's smooth and running on the same page. Okay. We don't have anybody volunteering to organize the potluck yet, so I'll put out another request for people to sign up for potluck to organize that. I did speak to Fact TV the other day and hired them to come to our town meeting, and they're going to set up a PA in the back so that people can hear what's going on at the front, and they will do the video recording of the town meeting for us because we have enough to handle. ARPA meeting attended by Stan and Dot in Bellows Falls. We attended on February 6th, the ARPA resource meeting and discussion with the state agencies and the Brattleboro Development Community Corp. And it wasn't a very long meeting. Everybody who was there talked to, what their particular areas of expertise is. I know, Bruce, you wanted to know some of the figures, and I have a handout for you, but the state of Vermont got something like, I don't know how many billions of dollars they got, but $250 million went to working on water infrastructure, which is not something that we would have to worry about. $40 million went towards ARPA care, daycare facilities. The libraries are getting $16.4 million. Act 172 is what you were interested in. That's the Municipal Energy Resiliency Program. And Brian is the office manager. There's $25 million that is available for that. $2.4 million of it is going to go to the regional planning commissions for grants to help to organize and work with the different communities. There's a $4,000 educational grants for municipalities to hire professionals to review over their needs. So the regional planning, Wyndham Regional Planning would be the person to go see to help with the process of studying this grant. So here's one for you. That has the information. It has the Vermont 11 regional planning commissions as the program partners, of course, Efficiency Vermont, the League of Cities and Towns, and the Vermont Energy and Climate Action Network. VLTC has some links on their page that you can do some additional reading for. But besides that grant, there's an agricultural grant, flood resiliency grants, local hazard mitigation plans. There's $2 million. We're getting about $7,000 or almost $8,000 of that grant already for us to do our hazard mitigation. But so there's still money coming around. We just have to be organized and suggest that they, review over with the regional planning. So the program funding for this resiliency is $45 million. So they'll do free energy audits. They will give grants of up to $500,000 to make covered municipal buildings more energy efficient and resilient. It includes weatherization, thermal efficiency, supplementing or replacing fossil fuel heating systems with renewable electric systems. Educational grants are about 4,000 per municipality, and so on and so forth. So you see that there, and there's information at the bottom of the page.
Okay.
Okay. And, reappraisal. When I came into the select board's office the other day, Helen Holt, our appointed lister, was participating in a Zoom meeting. And it seems that we, like another 160 some odd towns, have a CLA which would require an appraisal for the town to be done. However, there is a limited number of companies that do the appraisals, 4 or 5. And so there is some government working going on right now to see if they can postpone or change the parameters for getting reappraisals, because it's just not going to be enough with COVID backing everybody up. It's just not enough manpower or companies to do this. So I didn't send it to you, Bruce. I did give a copy of it to Stan. Some of the links that Helen got from her workshops. And Stan, you had something interesting to say about making a contact with someone and making a recommendation.
Yeah, I read these emails this afternoon, and I guess the committee hearing is either tomorrow, or the deadline for remitting things is due tomorrow. And it looks like the legislature is trying to come up with ways to put off the mandate to have a reappraisal done for those 160 towns that need it, and a few other things. And there are things included in the statute and the summary that I think might have been a part of this, which I logged into. There's a site given for detail, and it deals with things that I think are not as helpful as they could be. For example, we currently get $1 per parcel, and then we get $8.50 a parcel. There's 2 checks the town of Brookline receives. For reasons that I don't understand, as a part of this dealing with the issue, they want to take away the $8.50 per parcel fees or monies that they're paying to the towns. They don't say why. They don't say how come. You know about it?
Yes.
Okay.
Helen said they want to double it. They want to double the amount that is going to go to the towns at this situation, because of the cost of these reappraisals have gone up so much.
Okay, the document that I looked at today doubles the $1. So we get $2 instead of $1. They're going to take away the $8.50. So we're basically getting screwed $7.50 a parcel, and they don't say why, nor do they offer another solution to delete or make ineffective the fact that your CLA is going to hurt a town if it's borderline over the limit. It doesn't say there's any concession for reducing so that they don't increase the tax rate because you're close to the line, the cutoff mark. There's no mention of that. And having been an appraiser, having been a lister, and having dealt with the reappraisal, I don't know why no one has simply said, look, your town is 12% from 100%. You're 88%, not 85%. Why don't you just adjust across the board all your property assessments by the 12% or 10%? So it ends up that our coefficient of dispersion and the CLA are significantly reduced. We get a much better percentage on our tax rate for the education side of our taxes, et cetera. There are other things they could do other than cut what they're paying to the town. They make every lister is doing exactly what they're, I mean, it's, I don't understand why they're taking $8.50 away, and they made reference to the fact that the listers are gonna do less work, just because they're not required to now be subject to, filing one annual report every year saying the town is working toward getting a reappraisal
Oh,
done.
boy.
And that doesn't make sense to me. So if I get up early enough tomorrow morning, and if in fact I have the remainder of the day, I have an appointment at 9:30 in Brattleboro, I don't know how long it's gonna be. I would like to send them, my opinion. I don't wanna represent the board unless there's an agreement amongst you that what you wanna be a part of it. But I think they're going up the wrong tree. They're cutting monies they're paying to the town. So
Yeah,
you
but
get less
something-
money.
something's
You're
wrong.
still gonna do the appraisal at some point. You're still maintaining all your records and properties through that entire time. And they're taking away part of the funding for it. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
I would appreciate if you would see if you had the time to find out, since you understand it a little bit better, but that was a little confusing to me.
Yeah, I think
Interesting.
if we
See, I was
should-
all excited thinking, oh, they're gonna double it. No, you're
only
doubling
doubling the
the
dollar. They're
Okay.
taking away $8.50.
That's what happens when you skim read it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, if we're gonna move on now to communications, I already sent you out the emails, the survey, the brick grant, the purchasing the equipment with ARPA money. That and the permit net, Guy sent us information called the Permit Navigator Demonstration for Town Officials for February 22nd, and I'm not exactly sure, don't have that many permits that we
Permits for what?
Jeff McMahon, community assistance. This is out of Vermont Department of Environmental Conservation. It says, all right, Jeff and I are community assistance specialists and environmental assistance. We'd like to inform you of the upcoming training on Permit Navigator. It assists individuals, businesses, and municipalities in determining what state environmental permits they may need for a given project. I don't know. If I have time, I'll watch it, but if I don't, I'm not going to. When we need a permit, I will do diligence and get that permit that we need. But at this
I
time,
agree.
we got information on it. And that's about it. I'm gonna go on to pay orders. Okay. At this time this evening, I'd like to make a motion that we approve payroll warrant 2333 dated February 15th, 2023 in the amount of $4,817.25. May I have a second?
Second?
Seconded by Mr. Noga. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving payroll warrant 2333 for $4,817.25 signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. I'll ask you all to sign it. Okay. Okay, at this time, I would like to make a motion to approve accounts payable warrant 2332 dated February 15th, 2023 in the amount of $17,190.78. May I have a second?
Okay.
Seconded by Mr. Mello. Any discussion? I just will say that I rewrote another email to Judy asking her about the difference of the invoice payment and statement payment for our recycling with
Mhm.
Brattleboro Salvage. So she was gonna check it out, but I haven't gotten a response. Other than that, there's no other discussion. Anybody else? No? All right, all those in favor of approving accounts payable 2332 in the amount of $17,190.78 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. I'm gonna ask you all to, you can go through it and sign it. As you're doing that, I will set the next agenda for March 1st, 2023, regular meeting, our last meeting before our town meeting. We'll talk about the town meeting, any last things, potluck dinner preceding the town meeting, review any, I have here, review ARPA pluses and minuses. I know what. Fairly soon, we're going to have to do a report to ARPA, annual report, and so we'll have to organize our donations and obligations that we've done, but that will be part of the agenda.
That's for April 30th, I believe.
Yes,
Okay, and the cutoff is the 31st of March, I think the
yeah,
cutoff date.
something like that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, anything else? If you have anything else you want to put on the agenda, just shoot me a note. Yes.
I don't know if it should be on the next meeting agenda or dealt with beforehand, but I don't know if any of you read the trial balance that we got for January. There are things that I have questions about. I don't know if I
The
should,
trial balance?
yeah, that it was sent to us.
I just looked at the funds a little bit, so.
I just don't understand some of the numbers, and then maybe I should just simply ask Melissa.
Yeah, I would ask
Ask
Melissa, or if you have any, if you wanted to email Melissa and CC us, I'd rather you not stop in at her at work. Just email or phone call her at home at night. She said she'd work, but yeah,
I mean, work here or work in Newfane?
work.
Anywhere?
She works at town hall.
Right, in Newfane.
In Newfane, yeah, call her at night or email her during the day. Don't
Right,
bother her at
right,
work.
okay.
But a Friday afternoon,
I would never do that. I've
Yeah.
not, nor have I.
All right, yeah, so check with her, any questions? Honestly, I have to say I skimmed through it, but I didn't look at the details because I just haven't had a chance to do all that.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? Hearing none, at this time, I don't have to make a motion. This time I'm going to adjourn this evening's meeting. The time is 8:08 PM.